Hi everyone, I'm Mom Sandra.
I'm Ben, son.
Good to see you all. We're doing a video a little bit earlier this time because we had some errands to run today. And it's been an interesting day, so we thought we would just share the day in one of our, the day in the life of an addict and a loved one. How's that?
Yeah.
So today, Ben, you've been very emotional. Do you want to share with our viewers how you've been feeling today?
Well, today, this last week I've had a pretty long week, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And today when I see my mom, and I've been thinking about stuff, and I've been I've just been really depressed and sad, where I think that I lost hope. I feel like there's almost no hope left. But I still have breath, so there's breath, there's hope. But I feel like, I'm running short on,
You were talking about how you feel like you're gonna die, and
I don't feel like I'm gonna die, but I just think my body can only take so much, and
mm-hmm.
I've been on the streets, not streets, but you know what I mean, for so long.
Yeah.
One of the reasons we're doing this series, the Wellness WakeUp, Self-Care Made Simple on Better Together as One, is because Claire and I, both as healthcare professionals, really recognize the importance of not only loving ourselves, but taking care of ourselves so that we can care for others. That's the same thing when we think of parenting, and especially if we layer in mental health and substance abuse, where families have to support. It can be draining mentally and physically. And the last thing we need to do is for us to be sick. I'm back here with Sandra, who's an advocate for substance abuse disorder and a mother of an amazing son, Ben. Mm-hmm. And Sandra, you've shared your story, which is so powerful, about walking through the journey of addiction with your son. It can be exhausting and draining, and you've shared with me that you've been at a very low point. What was the turning point for you where you realized, wait a minute, I've got to do something for me. I've got to do some self-care for me. What was that turning point?
I first learned self-care many years ago when Ben's dad and I were going through a divorce, and we were living in the same home. And I saw myself I was very stressed, it was overwhelming, and my kids Ben was only 4, his sister was 7 or 8, and I saw how I wasn't being the best mom because I was stressed. So when we finally parted ways, I decided, it's about me. If I'm not in a good place, I'm not a good mom. And what do I want to do? I want to be a good mom. I want to be the best mom I could be.
Right.
When we know better, we do better. So I learned that many years ago. With the addiction, because it's such a journey, and I didn't realize it was a real problem until I was exhausted, because it's emotionally draining, that roller coaster. I couldn't function as well, and I had to say, whoa, this isn't helping. This isn't healthy. I'm not the best mom I could be. So I started to learn about addiction. I started to learn that I can't fix it. I learned that I can't control it. There's the 3 C's with one of my support groups. Can't control it, I didn't cause it, and I certainly can't cure it.
So let's hear that again. 3 C's.
3 C's.
You can't.
I didn't cause it.
Didn't cause it?
I can't control it, and I can't cure it.
Yes. Yes.
So when I put that aside, I think, okay, what can I do? I could be the best me. I could set my boundaries. I could take care of myself. And so taking care of myself is recognizing if Ben overdoses and he's in the hospital, because this is when I really learned it, because I was constantly going to the hospital because it was pretty regular. It's like, I'm too exhausted. I know how the health system works. He's alive. Where there's breath, there is hope, and that's where we get that from. Where there is breath, there's hope. Right. I know he's alive. There's nothing I can do that the doctors aren't going to be able to take care of. So I started to slow down. I stopped rushing. I started to look within myself. Mm-hmm. And when I realized that I couldn't control or tell him what to do, I focused on me. And that's when the boundaries came in. It's teaching Ben how to treat me and letting him know that I'm there to support change. I love you. That is the last thing I say to Ben. no matter what, whether he's in a horrible state and I'm about to hang up, I will say, I'm hanging up, I love you.
Right.
Because I want to live with no regret.
Right.
Because I know I'm doing the best I can with what I know.
Right. Right.
And taking care of myself is number one.
Yes. Now I know that you do a lot of other things in self-care. We talked a lot about breath work and going back to your breath. That's important, isn't it?
Absolutely.
To slow that nervous system down. We tend to hold our breath when we're under stress.
Yes.
And that's so important. What other types of things?
Meditation.
Meditation.
Is huge. And I started that when my kids were young. I didn't have the word meditation in my vocabulary. But when I was angry and I was frustrated when they were tiny, I would put myself in a timeout. And that's when I started to just be and breathe. And I was meditating without even knowing it.
Right, right.
Because meditation is that scary word.
Of course.
But just taking those deep breaths
Yes.
slows the heart rate down. And I always say, like to Ben, you have that jar of water and sand. And if you're carrying it around and you're shaking it, it's really cloudy. But when you let it sit and you sit with it, the sand settles and there's clarity.
You know what? That's a great analogy, and it's a very important one to share. For those that are at home, maybe suffering in silence or maybe really feeling stressed, and I know you said at the top of the show that you can relate to that, what are some of the resources? I know we got so much more work to do. Our system is overwhelmed, and you know that, you're living it. But where can people go for help? What are some resources locally that they can do?
There is ADAPT, A-D-A-P-T, I think .ca. There is Nar-Anon. There's NA for the addict, Narcotics Anonymous, and then there's Nar-Anon for the loved ones.
Right.
As there is AA for the alcoholic, there's Al-Anon.
Right.
There's also CMHA.
Yep.
They are a great resource, and if you go on their website, I believe it's cmha.ca, there is a crisis number, so if you are in crisis, you could reach out. And I think here in Halton, they also have ROC.
Yes.
So that is very helpful.
It's so important to have those resources. But what's even more important is the advocacy of the work that you're doing. To elevate this message, to share it authentically. I know sometimes you come on by yourself because Ben's not in a state to be there, and other times you come on together. And that's so important. So tell us where we can find your YouTube channel, because everyone needs to go there now, subscribe, and hit the notification button so that whenever a new video goes live, you're gonna get it. Where do we find you?
If you just go to youtube.com/Spirit to Live.
Spirit to Live. Sandra, your energy is magical, your strength and courage is admirable, and your mission to make an impact is really what drew me to have you on our show. And I truly believe we're better together as one. And what that means is that all of us have to work together. Communities, government, healthcare, everyday people like Sandra, and the people that are suffering with mental health and addiction. We need to talk more about this, but more importantly, we need to act and not just talk about things and be really real. So thank you for sharing so authentically.
Thank you.
You finish every video with Ben, and I find myself at home doing this with them because I know it's coming. So I feel that it's appropriate to end our show in our new studio with the way you end your videos. So look into that camera and tell everybody what you say at the end of your video, and we'll sign off.
And remember, where there is breath, there is hope. Peace.
And on that note, thanks for joining Better Together as One. Make sure you tune in and follow us on all the social channels. We are here to educate, empower, and elevate our communities, and we're going to do that together. So until next time, stay safe, stay well, and we'll see you soon.
I didn't even want to move, but I knew I had to.
Right.
It's I can't see forever. That's just death.
Yeah. And you know what? Keep pushing yourself, buddy, because, in time, it will get easier.
Yeah.
Just remember that, and remember you matter. People care. You've got the support. I know for me, I'm here to support you for change, and let's keep going one day at a time, 1 minute, 1 second, because it adds
I always say
up.
1 second because I
1
can't stress
second.
that enough.
That's good. 1 second at a time, because that builds to the minutes, to the hours, to the days. and
Just to
so
think
on.
of a minute is like, you could be daunting. Like, even if you're like, if you're sitting in front of like using it and you have stuff, you're like, I'll wait a minute. And then like 10 seconds later, you're like, oh, no, I'm just going to hit it. That's like 10 seconds, not even a minute.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Just hang in there, buddy. And just remember, where there is breath,
there's hope.
amen. Take care, everybody.
Peace.